Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to make a quick video because just recently I haven't really been working on as many sort of piano tutorials or like remakes or any of that kind of thing as I usually would be. I usually try and upload, just like one piano tutorial a week or a remake every week, just something basically every week. But just sort of recently I haven't been working on either of those things really as much, and as a result of that I don't think I'll really be able to stick to that weekly kind of schedule for the next, I don't know, up to maybe even a month. That doesn't mean I'm not going to upload a video for a month. I mean, I might even be able to work on one of those things in that time. Basically, the main reason for all of this is just recently I've sort of started doing something a bit different actually. For a while, I've been doing remakes since I was 16, I reckon. Even though I wasn't uploading them all to YouTube then, I sort of started using the program FL Studio since I was 16 and I'm almost 19 now, so I think I've had a bit of experience using the software, and I'd definitely say doing all of these remakes has helped me learn a lot of techniques in songwriting and production, just as far as what artists do in these just genres of music, knowing how to structure a song, or just certain sound design techniques that really help pad out and sort of make songs sound fuller. But I guess for a while I've really wanted to do sort of my own music, actually compose, write my own music, and also obviously produce it. And again, I have actually been doing a bit of that already, but again, I haven't really uploaded it or showed it to anyone. It's just sort of me just been playing around in FL Studio. And I guess most of the time I'd come up with something and then it would be I'd sort of just abandon it because I could tell it wasn't really going anywhere. And so I sort of ended up with all these half-assed kind of projects. I guess sort of just recently I sort of forced myself to realize that that's a process that a lot of artists go through, this kind of period of not knowing what to do. In fact, it happens all throughout the process of writing music, is getting creative block and getting stuck and wondering what you should do next. And so I guess I've really challenged myself this time to sort of push through all of that. And whenever I do get stuck, instead of just abandoning it, to actually try and solve it, try and fix it, try and change it if needed. So I sort of set myself this 30-day challenge. Basically, the idea is that I keep working on it for a month. And even if I, get to a point where I'm okay, it's done, I still have to work on it until that month's over, which means that forces me to then go back and always think, what can I improve on, even if I'm lazy and just go, no, that's it. One thing that I've definitely noticed about composing and producing my own original music is that it's so much more about knowing what to do instead of how to do it. With remaking existing songs, is just sort of all about knowing how to go about recreating a certain sound, whereas with composing and producing it's so much more about creative decision making and knowing what I should do to fill up a certain section more, or what I should do to progress the song. What chord progression should I choose? What sound suits this? Stuff like that. And I feel like that is definitely a skill in itself that probably a lot of producers overlook. They probably think, oh, it's all about the sound design, but it's so much about creative decision making as well. So I think my idea for this is really, instead of just doing one song, I could do a bunch of songs and then sort of put them all together in this EP and have them sort of have some common element amongst them all, so it sort of makes sense for them to exist in this same extended playlist together. And the theme that I'm really going for throughout all of those songs, that's already fairly evident in the first song that I'm working on, is for each song to represent a certain setting or atmosphere. So for the first song I really wanted to portray a noir kind of setting, so I have sort of ambient sounds of a city at night and also some rain falling, and the actual sound design is very minimal, but also there's this kind of underlying edgy element to it in the bass, and then I do bring in some lead elements that really stand out because they're different to everything else in the song, and the whole thing is meant to sound really quite jazzy. And then for another song I'm thinking of doing sort of tropical house, which would fit the setting more of a tropical rooftop bar in Miami or something like that. So yeah, basically the idea is that every song is associated with a setting, because I often find that music, although it can be associated with specific emotions, it often doesn't really go as far as being associated with something tangible. And when I find like the artist is trying to sort of tell a story or do something different, I often find it's never quite clear, whereas I really want to drive that home with these songs, that's what I'm trying to do here. So I also had another goal with these songs besides the whole setting thing. You may know from some of my remakes that I have featured vocalists on them, just to sort of bring them to life a bit more and give them a bit more purpose, and give me something to do with them, basically. And I know from what you guys have seen, you probably only really see me do like remakes and that sort of thing with mightn't doing the vocals, besides maybe that one that I did ages ago with Beck Tilly. Now I think of it, I've only really uploaded a few remakes where I've had someone do vocals on it, and they were mostly with mightn't, whereas I've actually done quite a few remakes with other people as well, and so that's something that's really my goal here as well with this collection of songs, is to have like a featured vocalist on every track. Because I really think beyond just the sound design and chord progressions, another thing that really defines each specific style is the style of voice that I'm looking for. So for the first song, I was thinking of asking someone who I've done a few remakes with before. None of them, I don't think, got uploaded to YouTube. Actually, no, they did, but they're unlisted, so you won't be able to find them unless you're good at finding hidden annotations. But unlike the other people who I've done remakes with, I'd say her voice is very strong and resonant, and I really feel like it would suit this kind of jazz style that I'm going for with the first song. I mean, I feel kind of bad saying that I'm going to do this now because I haven't actually asked her yet, so I mean, I don't know, it could be someone else, I really have no idea, but that's who I'm hoping to get with this first song at least. And then for the others, I might get some other people who I've worked with before, like mightn't, who I've done all those remakes with. Beck Tilly, I might also ask. She's actually releasing an EP soon, so I might put a link somewhere here in an annotation or in the description. She's got a brilliant voice. I remember when I recorded Straight Into the Fire with her, I think she had like a cold or something, but when I listened back to it, it was like pitch perfect. Because usually, I'll go into like New Tone on FL and maybe sort of retouch some of the bits that might go a bit pitchy, because nobody can sing perfectly, robotically perfect, it seems. But for her, it's just it was insane. It was just every note, even every millisecond of a syllable was just in key. It was incredible. And there's also someone else who I haven't worked with before who I'm thinking I might ask, but I've mentioned it to her before. So yeah, basically, as I said, having a different vocalist on every track, and then having different sound design and chord progressions and musicality in general on every track. The idea is that each track can exist within itself, but at the same time there's this kind of common theme that each track is meant to represent a setting that I really want to portray throughout the entire EP. But yeah, anyway, as I said at the start, the reason I'm saying all of this is because to produce all of this, it does take time, and it does mean that I probably won't have the time to be working on, piano tutorials or remakes or other things. And so I don't know if I can really commit to the sort of weekly upload schedule that I usually have. I mean, I'm not going to completely write off the possibility of me uploading weekly. I mean, I might be able to fit something in, but I would say generally, there's probably going to be a few gaps until I start releasing songs. But the good thing is that when I do release songs, they'll be of really high quality, hopefully. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. Hopefully this isn't too much of a long video, but until whatever my next video is, I will see you all next time.